Hey guys, today what we're going to do is we're going to try something brand new. And we are going to
add integers.
Write it down.
And this is a very, very important skill for later on. Integers. And this is a very, very important skill for later on. And we've been working with integers, so you know that they are positive and negative numbers. We've been working with integers, so you know that they are positive and negative. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with something very, very simple. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with something very, very simple, because those are both integers. What's 2 plus 7 plus that equals 9? Because those are both integers. What's 2 plus 7? Now, that's very easy because they're both positive integers. Now, when we add integers, very easy because they're both positive integers. Let's say it's negative 2. When we add integers, let me change this. Let's say it's negative 2 plus negative 7. Because now we're talking about negatives. That one gets a little bit more tricky. Negative 2 plus negative 7. Because now we're talking about negatives. Two little negative signs. So negative 2 plus negative 7. And then I'm going to put 7 more over here. Two little negative signs. 5, 6, so for 2. And then I'm going to put 7 more over here. And if I'm adding those together, how many do I have? 7. I have negative 9. And if I'm adding those together, how many do I have? So negative 2 plus negative 7 is negative 9. It's just like 2 plus 7. So negative 2 plus negative 7 is negative 9. But because you're adding negatives, it's just like 2 plus 7 negative equals positive 9. So if I have but because you're adding negatives, your answer is plus negative 10. So if I have that equals negative 4, negative 14. Negative 10. Because it's just like adding normal numbers, negative 2 plus 7, or 4 plus 10, because it's just like adding normal numbers, 14. 2 plus 7, negative 4 plus 10, negative 10, so 4 plus 10, 14. Negative 4 plus negative 10, so negative 14. That's kind of the easiest integers to add, is when they're both negative. So that's kind of the easiest integers to add, is when they're both negative. Negative 1. So if they're both negative, you say, well, 3 plus 1 is 4, negative 1. They're both negative, so you say, well, 3 plus 1 is 4. That's the easy way to add integers. And they're both negative or both positive. That's the over here I'm going to try some integers. If they're both negative or both positive. You have a positive and a negative. Over here I'm going to try some where we're going to try with a positive and a negative. So negative 3. So we're going to try with a positive and a negative 4. So negative 3. This one's harder because you basically have 3 negatives. 4. This one's harder. 4 positive signs because you basically have 3 negatives. Now here's the cool thing. 4 positive signs. The negative and positives are opposite, so you can cross them off. Now here's the cool thing. You can cross that one off. The negative and positives are opposite, and so you can cross them off. These are all gone because they cancel each other. And what do you have left? And that one. So these are all gone because they cancel each other. And what do you have left? You have 1 positive. It's just the same 1. When you have 1 positive, it's just the same when you have 1 positive and 1 negative. You end up doing something instead of adding. If you have 1 positive and 1 negative, you end up actually subtracting. Instead of adding, 4 minus if you have 1 positive and 1 negative, you end up actually subtracting. So I'm going to try 4 minus negative 8 is 1 plus 10. So I'm going to try negative 1 negative, 1 positive. So I'd have 8 negative signs. So 1 negative, 1 positive. And then I'd have 10 positive negative signs. So I'd have plus, and then I'd have 10 positives. I'd have lots of positives. I don't know if I can even write them all down. And 8 of these are going to go away. Positives. These 8 are going to even write them all down. And 8 of these are going to go away. Subtract 8 of them away. So 10, just like you were subtracting, you're going to subtract 8 of them away. Positive 2. So 10 minus 8 is not negative 2. Positive 2. You get positive 2. Not negative 2. Positive 2. Now the other thing that can happen, if you notice, both of these. Now the other thing that can happen. 4 was, if you notice, the positive number and 10 was the positive number. Sometimes we have problems like the positive number and 10 was the positive number. 7 sometimes we have problems like 3. So let's try that one. 7 plus negative 3. I'm going to subtract. 7 let's try that one. 3. 7 plus negative 3. 4. I'm going to subtract. And it's going to be positive because 7 is bigger. 4. Because I'd have 7 pluses positive because 7 is bigger. Because I'd have 7 pluses and 3 minuses. So all these would cancel. And 3 minuses. And I'd have 4 positive. Now I'm going to switch that around and see if you can handle one like this. And I'd have 4 positive. What if I made it negative? I'm going to switch that around and see if you can handle one like this. 3. What if I made it negative 7? That one's different. Plus, you 3. Still subtract. 7 minus 3. That one's different. What is 7 minus 3? Still subtract. It's 4. 7 minus 3. But this time, what is 7 minus 3? Has the negative, and it's the bigger number. But this time, since the bigger number has the negative, and it's the bigger number, has to have the negative. So since the bigger number has the negative, 7 negatives, my answer has to have the negative. Like that, because I would have 7 negatives, 3 positives. Like that. So that means I can cross off positives, 3 of my negatives. So that means I can cross off, these cancel each other, the 3 of my negatives are opposites, they cancel. Because these cancel each other, the pluses and minuses are opposites, they cancel. And if you look, I have adding 4 negatives left. Sometimes you have to use subtraction. So let's try adding negative 3, sometimes you have to use subtraction. 1. So let's try, well, what's negative 3 minus 1? Plus 3 minus 1 is 2. Well, what's 3 is the bigger number, right? 3 is bigger and it has the negative sign. But my 3 is the bigger number, right? 3 is bigger and it has the negative sign. You have to look and see which way you're going to do things. Okay, you have to decide. Well, you have to look and see which way you're going to do things. Okay, you have to decide. Make them a minus 2, or is it going to be a positive 2? This one was a negative. Make them a minus 2, or is it going to be a positive 2? With the 3, the bigger number. This one was a negative because I'm going to go back up here for a second. Remember these ones with the 3, the bigger number. They were both negatives. I'm going to go back up here for a second. You remember these ones. So if you have two negatives, 2 negatives, you just add. So if you have 2 negatives, just add. If I scroll up here again, if you have 1 positive and 1 negative, if I scroll up here again, if you have 1 positive and 1 negative, you have to decide is your answer positive or negative. And then after you subtract, you have to decide is your answer positive or negative.